Yeah. How many Salvadorians are here? Hmm? You're gonna onboard my first Bitcoin Salvadorians, or you're gonna onboard, the waitress from the Azteca. That's the only Salvadorians here. You understand what I'm saying?
So you think it's like an expat thing?
So what?
It's like too many expats. It's Bitcoin.
Definitely too many expats. I mean, you just need eyes. Tell me which is Salvadorian that is not from my first Bitcoin or it's not working here. You know what I mean? So, first thing, put your thing in Spanish. Maybe they will understand that you guys are getting together. It's my thought.
We're streaming live. We're in Canada. So, yeah, let's just try and get some framing going on. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you know Linus. Yeah, no, everyone knows Linus, right? So, yeah, we're at the Meet Premier Bitcoin meetup in San Salvador. Having a good old time, grabbing some beers, and I'm here with Sebastian. Yes, Sebastian. Sebastian has 3 businesses. In one, 3-in-1 business. The guy's taking care of business. He's set up his business on a Bitcoin standard, doing everything he can to bring about adoption here in San Salvador. Yes. You're a local from San Salvador as well?
I was born and raised here.
All right.
In San Salvador. Yeah.
Nice one. How's the last 5 years been?
Technically, I've only been here for the last 2.5.
2.5?
Yeah, I was in Germany before.
Okay. And did you move back because of what's happened here, or like?
Because of what's happening in Europe, technically.
Okay.
Lack of opportunities, everything's expensive, the war.
Yeah.
And I don't like to have bosses. I want to be the boss.
You're the boss. You're the boss. You're a sovereign individual. So what was the strategy about becoming your own boss? What do you do?
Hope for the best.
Okay, hope is the key thing. Like I'm a build around hope.
Yeah, literally.
I'm a build around hope.
Because I study finance,
Yeah.
all the stock market and everything, selling stocks and bonds and whatever. And there's no such thing here.
Yeah.
You go apply for bank, you're literally giving credits or cashing in people's check or whatever. There's no such thing as that. So the next best thing is
Where do you think they want to
competition for the big 4.
In a class?
Yeah.
KPMG, McKinsey, PwC, Deloitte, whatever.
Big Spanish, right?
You're hitting for those guys. You're like, I'm gonna make them work harder. I'll get out of the way.
Yeah.
Fuck them, man. Let's go. So you set up your business in Germany before. You set up here in San Salvador.
I tried in Germany.
Yeah.
Laws are not very entrepreneur friendly, let's call it.
Yeah. So it was easier setting up a business in.
100%.
You got any advice for someone who wants to set up business in? I mean, you obviously had the residency and the passport and everything, but in terms of like setting up a business, any tips? Anybody out there wants to set up a business in El Salvador?
But you do it. Bukele has done everything for policies, inviting people, Bitcoin adoption. So Bukele has been doing everything great. Now it's our time to go invest. There's a big opportunity here in El Salvador. There's a lot of money coming into El Salvador, which is not the case in Europe or in the US or in Canada, in a lot of places in the earth. So basically El Salvador right now is the exception.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've been trying to work out what's been going on over the last 3 weeks whilst I've been here that's made such a big impact on me. And I think the biggest impact was I've left, like, I visited in the last 3 years so many different countries, like States, Canada, Europe, France, everywhere, like UK, Scotland. They're all countries in decline. And, like, it's nice to go somewhere new and meet new people and go to a new spot. But coming here is like it flipped. I'm like in a country that's heading on the up. And, like, you can feel that. I think that's the biggest difference, and that's not even a Bitcoin thing necessarily. It's a part of it, but it's not like the main thing here is like things are on the up, and I can see it, and I can hear it, and I can feel it. And it's dope, man. Like it's contagious.
El Salvador, there's hope.
So you're building around hope. Yeah. Who's joined you on your cause? Have you managed to recruit Bitcoiners, or like did you recruit people based on their talents and try and orange pill them, or did you get Bitcoiners and try and like how do you
That's super interesting. Imagine you're in Vietnam.
Oh, I know what's going on. Let me sort out a camera real quick.
You want
We
an
still
event of
go. There we
99%
go. All right.
Vietnamese.
There we go. Yeah. So
yeah.
like people, how do you go about it?
Um,
You know what I mean?
little by little, through connections, through family members, through friends,
Yeah.
through other business entrepreneurs. Um, yeah.
How do you build network here if you're not from El Salvador? What's important?
I mean, I cheated. I really cheated.
Yeah.
I grew up here.
Yeah.
I technically attended the best high school, the most expensive high school in the country. The British school, the best of the best.
British is the best, man.
Yeah, the British. No. The British school is the best of the. Okay,
Oh my.
let me give you another
So
example.
was it an international school?
Bukele's daughter is in a British school.
Okay.
Okay, it's not like a
Is
normal.
it an international school?
Yeah, it's an
So they teach the
international
British curriculum.
an IB.
An IB,
Yeah.
International Baccalaureate.
Yeah.
Got you, man. Got you. Okay. So you studied that. That was a big leg up for you, right? That was like.
And the people around me.
So the
Everybody was the son of who's who, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you got a head
So
start.
I had a head start.
So like parents out there thinking about putting their kids through education, being like, can we afford this school? Can we send them there? It's not essentially the education that's the only reason for going to it's the network effect.
Yeah.
It's like who you graduate with,
The best of the best
and
people.
who those people's parents are, and
the
whose
elite
kids they will have, and like all that. Okay. So private education.
Private education.
Yeah, you're a
Best of
fan?
the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think El Salvador is doing enough to decentralize education, or how do you see that? Like Bitcoin and education. What's your take on that?
We need more more investment in the education here.
Okay.
A lot.
Yeah.
We're years behind the rest of the world, technically. In public education and in even higher level education. University here sucks. Like,
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Just like all the way through.
Yeah, literally. So, for example, I've seen people who graduate universities, they have business degrees or they have engineer degrees.
Oh, we got an announcement. We're going to take a little break and we'll be right back. All right, so for those who are listening back home, we got like a little presentation going on. We're in Azteca. You know this place? You've never been
No,
here?
never been here.
All right, so for those who don't know, this is one of the hundreds of businesses in San Salvador, which is accepting Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We got like two super young entrepreneurs. I think they're brothers, right? They own this place?
I believe so, yeah.
It's a beautiful Mexican restaurant with some great food. There's like some vibes. And basically the Meetup here, they move from place to place.
Yeah.
So like there's too many choices in the city of where you can go for any type of Bitcoin meetup. So they go from one spot to the next, checking everything out, and here we are. So we got like some presentation coming up soon, but yeah. You got any like closing statements about where we can pick you up? Like any words of wisdom? Like anyone meetups?
Think beyond.
One thing that I did was ask the AI.
All right, Sebastian, I might ask you to slide out. Thanks very much, man. I'll drop this mic. We'll see if Gabe wants to join us. All right, we're coming back. Coming back with Gabe. Gabe from what's up, bud?
Wide angle.
Yeah. We got a little booth set up. I'll give you this, like you know how to use your microphone. Yeah, and you get to interview me now. Yeah, bro. Because Gabe's got some questions and he wanted to ask them.
It seems like you haven't really liked El Salvador that much.
It's been honestly like it's been a regrettable decision coming here because I don't know when I'm going to leave. Yeah, it was like a terrible plan. You know, there was no plan for this situation, which is coming to a beautiful country like El Salvador, and falling in love with it and having a great time. And I was just saying, Sebastian, like the biggest change is like leaving a country like Canada that's in decline and moving to a country that's on the way up.
Like in a third world country.
Yeah. I mean,
Like you expect something completely different.
Yeah, I was super nervous. I gotta be honest, like I was super nervous showing up. I don't speak great Spanish. I've never seen myself being in a country like El Salvador. I've never visited Latin America. And And then as soon as you get here, you're like, oh wait, everything's cool. I'm not in danger. Then after that, you explore. You're like, wait a second, things are moving. People are building. People are having fun. And then you get to know what's happening with Bitcoin on top of that, and you're like, damn, that's the reason I showed up. It's not the reason I'm staying. Like, I'm staying an extra week because, like, it's a place that's happening. And there's so many countries in the world where it's not happening now. There's so many countries where everyone just complains and you know it's going to shit and nobody can do anything about it. But here it's like things are moving in the right direction, so I can get it now.
How does that make you feel going back to Canada? And what do you take away? Like, you know, feeling the vibes here, feeling the motivation. What are you gonna do? What does that like?
Yeah. How are you gonna cope with this?
Yeah, like, you know, how are you gonna bring this energy that you felt here?
Yeah.
And try to replicate it there. Do you think the community will appreciate that? Do you think they'll be along with you?
Yeah. I'm gonna go hard in the paint throughout the winter. Like that's the way it goes. Like meetups like this, like events like we just went to adopting, the hardware store, like all the little things are like fuel for the fire. I might get frustrated because I'm gonna want to go from like 0 to 100 miles an hour. And even in El Salvador, there's like adoption struggles, right? You know, it's not wall-to-wall Bitcoin in every place, right? But hanging on to the people I've been with Bitcoiners for like 3 weeks now. I've been visiting local businesses and all these different spots and seeing it happen. I wish it could happen within 2 weeks back home in Canada, but it's going to take a long time.
It's so tough. Like when I first got here, it was like stepping through a portal into the future. You know, like, whoa, this is what the world could look like.
Yeah.
Where Bitcoin is like top of mind. Exactly.
Yeah.
So then stepping back in time, almost going back to Canada. Like, why are things not happening? You know, and I stayed in Canada for a year.
You hodled Canada, right? Like a lot of us, we hodled.
Yeah. And, but I think if you follow the Bull Bitcoin mission and ethos of taking the hard path, then I will applaud you even more if you actually stay there and motivate people and actually succeed, because that is the real hard path. You know, I'm not going to lie to you. I took an easy path. Although I'm taking risks, I took the easy path to find a place where I was happy. And although it might be frustrating at the beginning, I think it'll be a lot more rewarding to go back to Canada and actually build something.
And I think that happened in like the fiat world and stuff, like they call it the brain drain. You know, like, like countries like Greece, like went through financial ruin. All the young people leave. Like South Europe, pretty much, like Italy, places like Spain, so and so. But when there's less opportunity, people leave, and these are the talented young people want to start families, and they set up somewhere else, and the other country benefits. Like El Salvador will be a country that benefits from the hemorrhaging of talent in the Western world. But yeah, is the fight going to happen within 5 years in these countries, or within 50 years? It could happen within 5-6 weeks. Something.
Do you think it's worth it? Even though I'm like pushing you to stay there, and I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like, do you think it's worth it?
These are like personal questions, right? I always think like progress is the kind of inspiration, right? So if you go from a meetup which is 3 people, and next month it's 6 people, like that's really encouraging. If you go from a meetup that's like 500 people, and then you go to 450, you're gonna be like, you know what I mean? So like, I just always like to see like it is number go up, like whatever metric you're choosing when you're looking like adoption and Bitcoin education. Like, can we help things grow? Like we hear a lot with Meetup Bitcoin, right? And they're measuring numbers, how many nodes they have, how many graduates they have, how many schools they are training to. They have all these numbers. Their numbers are going up. And I suppose like the thing to do when I get back is to make sure my numbers go up, define what my numbers are going to be, and then make sure that they go up and try and push them. So yeah, meetup attendance got to go up. What else would it be? Like participants in any type of like live streams and any content and all that type of jazz. It's got to go up. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to just engagement farm, but you need to be able to meet people where they're at. I hate that phrase, meet people where they're at. So it's not about like dragging people into something they don't want to be a part of. It's trying to find out, well, how can I find where they're at and address what they need to. So I don't know if it's like hanging out at like small town hockey arenas, and instead of being in like the big cities and the nice restaurants holding a meetup, like can we get out to rural areas? Is that maybe a better way to answer? Just being a bit more agile. What's up? It's my boy Wally. Yeah, boy. We switch out. We switch out. Wally, come on over, man. Come on over. Come on, sit down. No. Come on over, man. Anyway, we got podcasters around. I'm getting spotted and called out for having not taken my plane back.
Yeah, for telling everyone that he was leaving, and then he's here.
All right, man. All right. Yeah. I'm getting called out.
All quiet. He didn't even message me. Unbelievable.
I've just been laying low, working hard, working for Bitcoin, man. What can I say?
No, it's cool, man. I love that you're enjoying your time, and you can go back and speak in a positive manner about El Salvador because people still have these misconceptions.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. Like, Bitcoin adoption isn't there. It's not as great as you think. But it's really all about coming down here and feeling what the people are feeling.
Yeah.
Because it's not just us Bitcoiners, it's the real locals. And for me, it's easy. I don't have a language barrier, but I'm sure even for you, if you're around people and you go talk to a local, they'll tell you stories of what this place used to look like and where we are now and what they're hoping for the future. And it's super encouraging.
The trend is your friend. Like that trend is huge. Like from today until the future, but also what just happened recently. And it does take a bit of smoothing out. Like it's been a hell of a change, and I can feel that kind of a little bit of turbulence in that, a little bit of like unease with like how stuff's moved so fast, and people aren't sure who to trust now.
Right.
And like Bitcoiners don't trust verify, but if the government's saying, hey, we should all be using this thing, you gotta make that leap of faith. I suppose it's more faith rather than trust.
Do you think that that's one of the biggest barriers in Canada is that the government is so against it and, the media speaks badly about it? What do you think the biggest barrier to us in Canada, seeing what you've seen here? What is the difference? Like, why has Bitcoin spread throughout the country, even though it's not at a rate where people online are happy? People here are happy with how quickly we're moving. What's the difference? And what can we do to increase that in Canada?
I think as soon as the media is against Bitcoin, it gives people an excuse to not have to learn something they don't want or step outside of the comfort zone. So they just cling to that. It doesn't mean they believe in that. It's just like, oh, here's a nice easy excuse where I don't need to step outside my comfort zone. So the fact that like a lot of the media is armed and equipped to negatively influence Bitcoin adoption is definitely like the first obstacle. It totally is. People read the headline, people read the word, and they associate it with something. And then that's it. It's an opt-out. It's like, oh, I read this, and then they don't go much further.
I'm gonna give a somewhat on-the-line analogy.
Let's go, Gabe.
That I came up with yesterday. But basically, people here have seen the problems.
Yeah.
With the currency, so they switched from the colon to the US dollar, and now what we're seeing is that they're feeling the same kind of fears because that change from the colon to the dollar was weird. Oh, I guess we're starting.
We're taking a break. We might be back. We might not. Take it easy.
trust. Okay, it's in the mempool, so it should be fine. And then the government banned this, and now we try just to bring it back. And we can see every island, like almost every day there's a Bitcoin meetup in Indonesia, and change it. Come to us, and I stay to my commitment. The first token is on me or on us, where we can share the cost, right? So that's basically it. If you have any questions about Indonesia, about Bali, just maybe come to the front and ask the question if you guys want to ask us. So is there any question?
From Canada. So how do you feel now in this country that you can do everything? You can buy a coffee, basically. So how do you feel now in this country?
The most impressive thing I saw was we were walking through a park, and everybody was enjoying freedom. Like everybody was feeling safe. There were people painting. There were other people doing karate. Everybody was just enjoying the time in the park. And if I think about when we lived in Germany, nobody was enjoying so much just being at the park and riding like a bicycle or something like this. It was crazy to see how much people enjoy freedom. And the more I am here, I understand that for us Bitcoiners, of course, Bitcoin is like so amazing, and it is truly, right? But if we think about those people, it's just one tool. Like not every El Salvadorian will think about all the fundamentals of Bitcoin. They just see, I live now in a country which allows me to move around freely, and I have a money that I can use which works better than the dollar, and that's basically it, right? So I learned a lot from just being here, and how not everybody needs to be understanding Bitcoin to the deepest level, it just needs to help them. And this is what I can see here. When we went to Berlin, we were just blown away about like how a circular economy helps people. So yes, we are super happy to be here.
And for us, it's very unusual to see all the Bitcoin signs and to pay in Bitcoin. And I always get overexcited when we do a Lightning transaction. It's a little bit weird, but I'm so happy every single time. Any more questions?
How does Bitcoin and Bali fit together? Because I've heard that Bali is not only like if you like Bitcoin, it's also like a new hotspot of like digital nomads. So do you perceive like any synergies between that?
Yes, if people from all over the world come together in one place, it's the best idea to have one money that everybody can use. And that's why Bali was a Bitcoin island 10 years ago, because there were so many digital nomads coming together and they just agreed on one money, which is Bitcoin. And especially if you work online and you want to get money for your online job, Bitcoin is the best solution because you can take it anywhere and you can receive it from anywhere. So yes, that's definitely one benefit that we see in Bali, that there's a lot of open-minded people, a lot of techie people, people that work online, that bring together all their ideas, so that really drives Bitcoin adoption in Bali.
I wanted to ask how many people, collaborators do you have there to help with this huge work on so many islands, everyday meetups and so on, and how do you get there?
So all the meetups across Indonesia are hosted by local community leaders. So these are just Bitcoiners that live in the city that reached out to us and said, hey, I also want to start a Bitcoin meetup in my city. So in total we are a team of 20, 30 people that contribute to the project. Some of them are volunteers, some of them are like us, the co-founders, or people that support at the Bitcoin house, people that work for our closed loop system, which is our circular economy, which we are not allowed to call circular economy. Yes, so many people contribute, and we're very grateful because all of this is, we're not a business, right? We make this happen through donations from the community, and it's amazing to see that so many people want to contribute to this. And even people from Africa reached out to us and say, hey, I love your project, I want to contribute, and they started writing articles for our education hub. So it's very a community project, and yeah, from the people for the people. More questions? Yes.
Why don't you move here to El Salvador? Because we have a lot to do here.
That's a really good question, right? And we also thought about this. Our thought process is not finished yet, so we are really blown away how nice El Salvador is. But for now, like sometimes you just go somewhere, and before we moved to Bali, we did a world trip because we were not happy anymore in Germany. And so then we came across Bali, and it just felt home. From the first second we arrived there, we just felt home. And so even now I'm here, and like it's so amazing that I can pay everywhere in Bitcoin. And we stay 3 months here, right? It's just now 3 weeks, but we will stay for 3 months here. So, but I already miss the place which feels home to me. Like every day I think about this, I want to go back home. Even though I get punished from 2 years going to jail if I just pay in Bitcoin. But also I have the feeling, because it's my home, I want to curate my environment, as Michael Saylor says. I want to improve, right? I want to change. I want to help all of those 280 million people that most of them, in the Indonesian mentality is, if somebody tells you to be quiet, if somebody tells you whatever, you just do it. So if the government says Bitcoin is illegal, and they did like shutdowns of shops that accepted Bitcoin, put people in prison, so then people are just quiet. So there was basically not a single meetup. And then we started with one meetup, nobody showed up, but at some point more people joined. And then more Indonesians said, okay, if they can do a meetup, maybe I can also do a meetup. But they never came with the idea like, I will start a meetup. And so suddenly it just grew, and it feels so nice to be part of this movement over there and fight this fight and being home. So that's why right now we feel home in Bali, but let's see, for the 3 months, maybe we cancel the flight back to Bali. Let's see how it goes. One more question? Yes. Sure. Oh no, okay, all good. So then basically that's it. Thank you so much for listening. If you still have more questions, just come to us, right? Thank you.
This is Emilio. I am the event organizer for Mi Primer Bitcoin. And tonight I want to thank Azteca for hosting this meetup. And also I want to introduce our friend Jose. He's the owner of Azteca. He's going to give a speech to the Bitcoin community.
Thank you guys very much, everybody. Welcome to Azteca. It's a pleasure for my family and I to be able to receive you here in our home and give everybody first-class hospitality here in San Salvador. I mean, what a crazy world, right? Who could have imagined that people from all over the world would be here in El Salvador today, in the nation that was the deadliest nation in the world, and now it seems to be leading the world as an example. So it's exciting to be a part of it. Our father immigrated to the US around 3 decades ago, and our family came back to El Salvador to build. We believed in President Bukele's vision for the country, and just like El Salvador, we found ourselves in a very difficult time, and we took inspiration from that. We knew that if El Salvador as a country could make that change and become something important in the world, so could our family. So we've been working day after day with a lot of love, with a lot of effort to keep creating, to make El Salvador great, and to make Bitcoin country out of El Salvador, and to be able to have events like this where we can all connect, we can all share, people from all over the world, and be able to put aside differences and all coincide on the idea of Bitcoin, which is love at the end of the day. And it's a pleasure to share with you guys here. Whenever you're in the city, feel free to visit us. It's always a pleasure for my brother, my stepmom Mariana, which is in the crowd, to have a conversation with you guys, to talk about where you're from, where we're from, and the beautiful things that are happening here in San Salvador and in the whole country. So welcome to Azteca. We hope you guys keep enjoying your night. We also have Hotel Martinez on the east side of the country, so if you guys make your trip out to Surf City too, you can look up Hotel Martinez on Instagram. You'll see a palm tree and a picture of my brother and I. We accept Bitcoin. We actually prefer Bitcoin as well, and you can enjoy the most beautiful beach in El Salvador, which is Playa La Flores. Now, I have seen everybody admiring the art we have on our walls. We actually have the artist here today. It is AI generated art. He accepts Bitcoin as payment for the art, so we really appreciate having him and having his pieces here at Azteca. They really make the place beautiful, and it's a pleasure to have a friend like him, and he would like to say a few words to you guys as well. Thank you guys, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your night.
My name is Edward. I've been here in El Salvador for the last 7 months. I'm helping to do some urban planning downtown in Salvador. And part of my vision as an architect, as a muralist, is to bring more value to the architecture and the urban planification, because that's called heritage. So if we're starting to do the heritage, it's what we're giving toward further generations. So it is important for us to embrace what technology, art, creativity can put together and show. So that's why I'm bringing today, we did a collaboration with this mezcal. It's called Pluma Negra. They bring it from Oaxaca. And this is the collection of only Catrinas. As a Mexican, for me, that is not what you must be afraid. It is the thing that you should be relaxed, because it's the only thing that you have sure. You know, that last dance with a Catrina, and that flower that you put on the when you're dead, the last flower of one person who loves you a lot, you just give it to her when you had that last dance. So that's why Catrinas are so important for us. So this collaboration is for that, because mezcal is the roots of Mexico, and the dead is the root of Mexico. So since long time ago, you know. I'm not going to get into details, but the dead, it was a thing for the daily life. So I'm so grateful with my friend. We've been working together for a while, and I hope you have a look, because they have some details that you must be like aware. So it's a pleasure, and enjoy the night, enjoy the meeting, and if you have any question, I'll be here. And I can share some of my cards in case you want to, you know, exhibit maybe in your home land. So thank you so much, and enjoy the night.
Okay, just to finalize, I want to invite you, everybody, to come to our stand. So we have merch. And also, I want to announce a big collaboration with Alejandro Galan, who is the founder of this chocolate. So just want to let you know, if you buy a chocolate, the 42% of the profit is going to the education Bitcoin oriented, and also Mi Primer Bitcoin. So there are many ways if you want to support this mission. So you can buy chocolate, you can buy merch, you can do a small donation, and yeah. So and also you can be volunteer with Me Primer Bitcoin, spread the Bitcoin education in many parts in Salvador and around the world too. I want to introduce Alejandro. He's gonna talk about the chocolates.
Hola, hola, buenas noches. Qué bueno volver a estar en un Meetup de Mi Primer Bitcoin, como ya lo dijo Emilio. Pues colaboré como 3 años en Mi Primer Bitcoin, trabajando arduamente por la educación. Y pues ahora, al final de varios años pensándolo, creando un producto, me decidí por fabricar la barra de chocolate. Yo soy productor de aguacate, café y cacao en la zona oriental de El Salvador, como a 3 horas. Entonces, mi idea siempre fue también poder aportar de alguna otra manera. Ya había aportado trabajando por todo el país educando con el tema de Bitcoin, pero ahora quería sacar un producto que también pudiera de alguna manera estar manteniendo un flujo de dinero, de ingresos para la organización. Pues ustedes ya saben, se ocupa bastante plata para llegar a muchas partes del país. Entonces decidí crear la barra de chocolate, que espero que les guste, espero que la compren, porque también están apoyando la educación de mi primer Bitcoin. Yo soy fundador de Bitcoin Oriente, estoy en mi ciudad también, ahí en San Miguel. Tengo oficinas de Bitcoin, damos clases a empresas, a emprendedores. Así que nada, gracias a mi primer Bitcoin otra vez por haberme permitido colaborar con ellos, por haberme permitido presentar el producto. Y pues nada, espero que les guste y cualquier cosa, pues ahí estamos. Gracias.
Thank you, Alejandra. Thank you. Okay, and also we're going to give a big applause to the little holder for sponsorship the welcome drink. So you can follow them on Twitter, like the little holder, or you can follow the mother is Lina Ishi. And yeah, so enjoying the night, enjoying the food. This is a great place, and see you next month or next year. Actually, December we don't have a monthly meetup, right? So all Bitcoin events are canceled at the end of the month. So for holiday, you know, but we're gonna come back in January. So be aware about our social media for the next meetup. Thank you.
Good job les gars. Kampai.